Watched 10 videos, not counting the motivational ones, where they promised me I'd never be lazy again and would achieve what I wanted. I'd take action and definitely get results. In all the videos, they told me I was ambitious but lazy, and offered to solve this problem with other, almost scientifically proven methods. Moreover, all the advice roughly fell into two categories. There was passive advice like, find meaning for yourself or something you truly enjoy. Only then will you stay motivated. Basically, I've been obsessing over this for about 10 years, and every time, no matter what new video or article I read on how to overcome laziness, I didn't get any better. A fragment, I never finished the 10-minute video. Or I wanted to learn how to do 10 pull-ups. So, fully charged up, on Monday last week, I went to do at least one pull-up. But by Tuesday, I was already in my usual idleness, lying in bed. And the main problem here is this very advice. Maybe it works for some, but not for me, because I couldn't begin to apply it properly or even decide what I really wanted to do. So today I want to tell you about 5 obstacles that prevent me from starting anything. I mistakenly believed that all of this was laziness, and I tried to combat it. It's important to note that all of these obstacles can exist in you either individually or together. So I recommend watching them all. And the very first thing you need to start with is a clear understanding of whether you are truly lazy. Many people literally can't get out of bed, mistakenly thinking they are simply lazy. But the truth is, it could be a visual display. And in fact, this is one of the most common reasons for idleness, which for some reason no one talks about in their motivational videos. A few years ago, I started noticing that I actually wanted to, say, make a new video for my YouTube channel, but I was stopped by a feeling of fatigue. I'd feel drowsy or drained, even though I hadn't done anything physical. Perhaps even my sleep wasn't so bad. Eventually, I started researching the topic of physical fatigue. Besides the fact that my ailments closely resemble the symptoms of serious illnesses, pay attention to what eat and how many protein-based calories the average person needs to provide energy for the day. Usually, my diet was haphazard. Mom made patties with mashed potatoes. Great. Mom didn't make patties with mashed potatoes. Oh, I have chips, Coke, and S'mores. Ultimately, after calculating the calories from such foods, I selected only the best days. When I ate more than once a day, I didn't even reach 1,500 calories. And these were cheap calories from sugar and sugar. I won't beat myself up like a fitness trainer about eating super healthy, because I can easily eat a whole cheesecake now, and that's enough for me all day. But on other days, I'll try to eat foods that are high in protein and help me meet my daily needs. This was really hard for me to realize, but once I started eating mindfully and adequately, I even found it easier to fall asleep. My sleep also returned to normal. After a few months of dieting and eating healthy, for example, I noticed that my inactivity with the excuse, "I'm tired," disappeared. I had a lot of energy and I had a lot of energy, but to be honest, it didn't really stop me from getting started. I simply stopped scrolling through my social media feed while lying on my bed. I started doing it sitting or literally standing up, because I had an excess of energy. Thus, I encountered the second obstacle, which I call inflated expectations. And before you think you've heard this before, let me give you an example of what I mean. I think all of us played football or basketball with friends or did something else as kids. Remember those feelings? We could kick a ball around literally from morning until night, without thinking about becoming great professionals. We just enjoyed the process and hanging out with friends, but in later life, I stopped doing such things. I literally stopped doing anything if I knew in my heart that I wouldn't become the best or at least achieve some results in it. I wanted to learn to play the guitar, but watching the lessons, I realized I'd never be able to play as masterfully. Music, and what stopped me wasn't the fact that learning would take a lot of time or be difficult. What stopped me was the fact that I probably wouldn't achieve much success in playing the guitar, and it wouldn't bring me any benefit. And if I don't get results, then why bother? And that's how I thought about everything I did. Filming videos, I won't succeed. Going to the gym, I won't get as big as the other muscle guys. Running in the morning, I still won't be able to run marathons. Basically, I had the same excuse for every undertaking. But each time, I forgot one simple thing that everyone knows from childhood. It's just that no one told us about it back then, although they should have. We can't control the outcome. We can only control the process, enjoy it, and influence that outcome through skill, ability, and behavior. And as soon as I stopped thinking about the result I would get from my actions and started enjoying the process, I was able to overcome this obstacle and started making videos, going to the gym, learning to play the guitar, and so on. I wasn't exactly successful in all of my endeavors, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that I was able to overcome myself and start doing something. But ultimately, I encountered the third obstacle, which I called an excess of work. Let me explain what that means. Previously, I could spend hours thinking about, for example, creating a new video. I tried to generate an idea, the best idea, but that very idea just wouldn't come. I always thought that the more I worked on it, the more involved I was in the process, the more I searched, the more I filmed, and the more I moved, the greater the chance of results and inspiration I would get. But in the end, it led to nothing, not in a day, not in a week. Always thought that if I never took breaks and always moved forward, that would be the key to success. But is that really true? Or was it just another YouTube video that told me the path to success is through hard work, constant progress, and so on? Ultimately, I was just starting to put pressure on myself, thinking I was incapable of doing anything more than nothing. I started to feel stressed because of this and lost any, even the slightest, desire to start the next step. After a while, I began to notice that before going to bed, I would get a lot of different ideas, good or bad, it didn't matter. They were there and they came literally out of nowhere. I didn't want them, I didn't work on creating them. Then I fell asleep, and in the morning everything was forgotten. At first, I didn't attach any importance to this and, thanks to stupid advice from the internet, I firmly believed that only hard and constant work until the moment of completion is the only way to come up with something or achieve something. As a result, I could write a couple of notes at best during the day, and at night before bed, without even straining myself, I could generate a dozen ideas. I wondered what the reason was, and it turned out to be because I was putting pressure on myself and driving myself into a cycle of despair. I need to come up with something. I can't come up with something. I need to work harder. I've already wasted too much time. I can't do anything. This only demotivated me and prevented me from properly focusing on the process. The best ideas and solutions, in most cases, come not from working hard under pressure, but in a completely relaxed and comfortable state. This is why so many thoughts can come before bed, because it is at this moment that we are truly relaxed, without any pressure, either external or internal. Therefore, it is worth trying not to try to do anything, supposedly fighting laziness and procrastination, but instead, completely relax and do nothing. And by nothing, I don't mean staring at a phone or computer screen all day, but literally nothing. In a quiet place, without focusing on specific thoughts, without listening to music, without watching TV series, etc. And as soon as something worthwhile comes to mind, start implementing it, even if it's small, by simply writing it down, so you don't forget it. Another obstacle, which wasn't the most obvious for me, but was always right under my nose, is a lack of habits. It's very difficult to start something from scratch, especially when you don't have a habit of doing it. Previously, I could literally refresh the page all day long waiting for new messages, scroll through YouTube looking for solutions to my problems, get hooked on funny or educational videos. And why are such useless actions so easy, while, say, starting to run in the morning seems impossible? Many say that scrolling is the easiest dopamine hit for the brain. Just one simple action, that is, swiping up, can give you a lot of pleasure. And while I was trying to understand the problem from this perspective, I got no results. So, at some point, I took a different look at it. I actually noticed this behavior by accident. While waiting at a traffic light, I'd unconsciously pick up my phone, and at some point, I realized it was acting like a habit for me. Have time when I have literally nothing to do, I just out of habit start checking my private messages, channel subscriptions, and so on, Sean.so, I thought, what if I tried developing new habits, but more beneficial ones? For my experiment, I chose going to the gym. I'd never gone to the gym before, and I didn't have the habit, much less the desire. But I started developing this habit day after day, week after week. And eventually, after 6 months, I started going to the gym regularly. And not because I want to get big or because I enjoy sweating there and looking at other sweaty guys. I've simply developed a habit that makes me can't help but go. I just feel uncomfortable skipping even one day. Just like I felt uncomfortable standing at a traffic light and doing nothing. And I've managed to develop a lot of such habits. From simple everyday ones, like washing the dishes immediately after eating, to professional ones, when I always make a full plan for the shoot, even if the entire video is filmed in one room with one person. And the last, 5th obstacle to taking action, I called it this: the path seems too long. Here, I fell into the trap of everyone advising you to set not one big goal, but several small ones. In my case, it turned out that each time I set myself smaller and smaller goals. Eventually, I began to Y35 reduce my already small goals, like editing at least a 30-second opening to a video, to at least opening a program, at least sitting down at the laptop, at least getting out of bed. I was told that this is a great approach and that it helps everyone, but no one told me that there are certain boundaries, and this method can start to work against you. It can become a cheap source of dopamine. You will unconsciously lower your goals in order to start doing at least something. And the most dangerous thing here is that you personally set such goals for yourself and, without a second thought, reduce them more and more. So I reconnected with my big goals and started writing out the path to them as tasks. This was my final hurdle in the fight against laziness. While preparing for this video, I wanted to stop many times, either while writing the script or during filming and editing. But after every line, after every edit, I realized that these were just obstacles I'd already overcome and that they had no effect on me or my actions. I hope at least one person watched this far because you could relate to what I'm talking about and had exactly the same problems. By the way, you can write about it in the comments. I believe such comments can help other people too. Also, if you want to thank me for this video, just subscribe to this channel and like it. It will help me a lot. Jord, do you remember when I climbed slow? Did I really blow?